Okay, the Manchester Major just wrapped up, and Beast Coast went and bloody did it. In the UK, America takes it home. This is a team that, personally, I saw would do well at the Major. I didn't have them winning the whole thing. I just thought it was too early, but I mean, I think they proved pretty much everyone wrong, except for, like, of course, your hardcore Beast Coast fans. They surpassed pretty much everybody's expectations this event, and I was rooting for them this event. It was hard for me to predict them to win games because I just was so unsure about their whole team, and but they proved to me and to pretty much everyone that they were clearly the best team at the event, and they even came back after being down 2-1 maps to BDS to win the best of five in 5 maps total. So it was a amazing game played by both BDS and Beast Coast, and props to BDS for giving us such a good series and tournament for them in general. And I expect those BDS guys to be back with a vengeance at the next LAN in Montreal, and maybe even the Esports World Cup with whatever happens with that. Um, and yeah, pretty much nobody saw this coming, including myself. Um, but it provided an amazing storyline with all these players. Uh, Spirits being dropped off of M80, Hot and Cold being dropped off of SSG, Gavin being dropped off of Dark Zero, Gunner being dropped off Sonics, and then Diffuser coming in as his rookie stage, all coming together just within the past few months, and then going all the way to win a massive tournament um, just a few months in. So huge win for Beast Coast. Um, Now they have expectations though, so hopefully they can continue to produce results, because I think that's the now that they've won, everybody will be targeting them, of course. So um, yeah, hopefully in the future the Beast Coast can keep it up, and they do not lose. They don't get complacent. Hopefully Beast Coast do not get complacent after this win. Hopefully they stay hungry and keep wanting to win and keep having fun, because that was one of the biggest things for Beast Coast's tournament. Is they always looked like they were having fun, and that was one of the things where I looked at BDS and every time they lost a round, they always looked like they were losing their minds a little. They didn't look like they were having the most fun whether they were winning or losing. So that was another huge thing for Beast Coast, is they just had that passion, and that passion is, I think, what brought them over the line in the end. So yeah, and now to just go over the tournament overall. Gunner went absolutely nuclear, uh, and and topped the stats in rating, KD, entry, and clutches this event, and with Bride with most plants. And then nobody from both the final teams had came in top 5 for cost, but that's whatever. And for the grand final, both Gunner and Lickyfack went on a master class today. They were both popping off for both teams. Both Lickyfack and Gunner broke the previous best of 5 uh, LAN record for most kills in a best of 5, but of course, which was 57. But of course, Gunner now holds the record because he had 63 and Lickyfack had only 60. Well, not only Lickyfack had an incredible 61 kills this match, but it wasn't enough, as the rest of his team, particularly Shaiko, had a very bad final here. Shaiko was really struggling. This is probably one of the worst Shaiko performances I've seen in a long time. It was really unfortunate to see, because if Shaiko showed up, they probably would have won this. But uh, it was meant to be for Beast Coast, and Gavini was also very good for Beast Coast this tournament. Not as good as Gunner was, but still very good. And And another thing too, Hot and Cold and Diffuser were just a little more consistent than Solotov and Uses this final. Diffuser though, he certainly showed that he was a rookie, and maps 2, 3, and 4 for Diffuser were really bad, and but maps 1 and it came at the best time. Map 5, he finally woke back up, and then yeah, Spirits not a great final from him, but he played well enough that in his roles and showed up when it mattered the most for Beast Coast. So, and Hot and Cold is just very good at like any role he you can put him in. He's just like you can always trust him. Doesn't matter the what operator or what role he's playing, and he had a pretty good game from Hot and Cold here. So, and I'm really happy for Hot and Cold and Gunner specifically, because I mean Hot and Cold's been playing this game forever, and Gunner, so many people were doubting him after being dropped off of Sonics, and he now holds the best of 5 land kill world record. So he shut everyone up, and even I can say I was definitely questioning some of Gunner's uh, decision making when he was on Sonics, because it just seemed like out of place compared to the rest of the team, and I knew he wasn't a bad player. I always knew he was good, but it's just like it's just nice to see Gunnar finally find the team that he fits best with. So and and going all the way with Beast Coast to win the entire thing. So yeah, incredible tournament from Gunnar and Ligifac specifically, especially in the final. And one thing I am concerned about for BDS is BDS were really reliant on the Soulless to play make, and with the upcoming Soulless nerfs, I don't know what that will do to how BDS play, because their intel game was really poor outside of the Solus on attack and defense. Of course, Solus isn't on attack, but their intel game is really poor, it seemed, this tournament, and it was pretty much only good because of Solus, and I was surprised that Beast Coast never banned it, because they must really hate Fenrir, and I can understand Fenrir is incredibly annoying and strong, but so is Solus, and BDS were abusing Solus's ability so well to play make that I thought it was going to end up costing Beast Coast the game at one point, in that when they weren't banning her, because the Liquifac was running amok with Solus, especially on Chalet. But pretty much every map, he was just running around with Solus and either playmaking himself or making plays for his teammates. But with the upcoming Solus nerfs, she's basically just getting nuked. I'm a little concerned how that'll affect BDS's play style. But I don't think they'll be terrible by any means, and I'm sure they'll adapt. But they are definitely BDS definitely need to be ready for the Solus changes, because it could hit them hard if they are not ready to adapt to Solus. Just it definitely looks like Solus is pretty much going to be useless, because Solus can't even play make herself anymore by since she's losing her impacts. So I thought the gadget nerfs were fine, but losing the impacts is like, now Solus Solus can't even play make herself. You can't do like any runouts anymore, quick runouts, that is, at least, and the ability of the gadget to like do anything is really poor, especially with how it can't be activated, and now unless it's at full charge as well. That was another one that was really rough for Solus, and of course I expected the her not being able to see drones in prep phase. That was a good change, and the range reduction I think was also good, because her scanner could see way too far. But I definitely feel like Ubisoft just wanted to really wanted to change the meta here, and they put Solus in the dirt. And Fenrir is also going to receive a big nerf, so in upcoming tournaments, I definitely expect to see Fenrir ban less, and the presence of Malusi will probably raise, because her gadgets cannot be destroyed unless you step in range of them and shoot them, or you destroy them with explosives, compared to Fenrir, where now they can be just shot from anywhere, whether they're opened or closed, and he has less of them and can activate less of them. So it's not as it's not the nerf for Fenrir is also going to hit him hard, but I still think we're going to see some Fenrir. But I feel like unless it's really situational, I feel like Solus is just going to like pretty much disappear entirely with how much they changed her. So yeah, um, and again, these are the score lines for the maps. Beast Coast took their own map. BDS took their own map, and then it reversed where BDS took Beast Coast map, and then Beast Coast took BDS map, and then Beast Coast were able to close out on Border, which was definitely a shit show of a last map for a last map, because Border just gets crazy, especially when you have two teams like this where BDS love that Solus, and Solus you can abuse like so many runouts on Border with Solus, and Beast Coast, who are a really well coordinated, aggressive team, and Border is a map that definitely promotes aggressive play compared to some of the other larger maps in the game. So, again, really great game here. A lot of tight score lines, and definitely, definitely one of the it's definitely in my top 5 siege matches. I don't know. It's definitely not number one. Number one definitely has to be SI 2024. And I do feel like the Berlin Major was still better because that also went 5 maps, but the Berlin Major went to like overtime, like 3 or 4 of the maps, and I think every map at least went to max regulation there. So I think that final is a little better, but this one was insane as well. So, and I feel like the modern CG sports is definitely more entertaining than CG sports of 5 years ago. So I definitely feel like if we get banger matches now, they're definitely gonna uh, be better than the old matches of uh, 2019, 2018, 2020 even. So yeah, banger game. If you missed it live, definitely definitely got to rewatch. I think Cafe was really good. Chalet was really good, and definitely rewatch the last 3 maps at least. That's for sure. The the first 2 maps were a little bit of a snoozer because it was just both teams' own map pick, and both teams were good on their own map. Uh, so yeah. And what that means for the global standings is, of course, Beast Coast being their number one in the region and taking the major. They're going to be at the most points for 6 invitational qualification. And it's pretty simple here. Literally every team in the top 20 right now for SI qualification is are teams that made the major, with, of course, the teams that went out the earliest pretty much being at the bottom, with the teams with the 8 teams that made top 8 all being in the top 8 global standings as well, of course. So um, big points for Liquid here though, as well, because they had to qualify through LCQ, but they got a big 200 points by making semis. So that was huge for Liquid, because if Liquid went out early in this major, their SI qualification chances would definitely not be looking so great. But they played quite well this tournament, better than I expected them to, and pretty much most people expected them to. So yeah, these are the top 20 teams in the global standings. All 20 of these teams were at the major, so no surprises really there. And um, I think that we won't have another like official blast tournament until of course, well, the Montreal major, but like the regional leagues, I think are probably going to be in September, I think, around there, because the majors in November, and usually there's like a month in between the end of the LCQ and the regular stage, um, a month to 3 weeks. So probably we won't probably see our regional leagues again for many months. So it was we're gonna Thankfully, I don't think we're gonna have to wait too long to have top tier Siege again, because we do have the Esports World Cup coming up, which is, I believe, in July, and late July, early August. I think, yeah, late July, early August. So it's a smaller tournament in terms of teams than the majors, but in terms of prize pool, I mean, majors is already life changing money, but I mean, it's $2 million. So the only bigger prize pool is for Siege right now is offered at the Six Invitational. So this is a huge tournament for teams, and I think the qualifiers are coming up quite soon, because I mean, it's we're creeping up on June really fast, and this tournament is takes place at the end of July. So this tournament's going to come fast, and it's going to provide a nice gap in between our the end of the Manchester Major here and the start of the next the start of stage 2, um, and leading into the Montreal Major. So for this tournament, it'll be 16 teams. The format is for teams going is pretty standard, but it is a little weird that Brazil has 4 slots for teams, while NA and Europe only have 3, because these are the 3 major regions, and I feel like for every like T1 tournament, um, I feel like, or S tier tournament, whatever you want to call it, I feel like Brazil, NA, and Europe should all have 4 teams, but I guess it, Brazil probably got awarded the way they wanted to do this. Brazil probably got this 4th spot because Brazil was the clearly best region in Siege all throughout 2023 and the beginning of 2024. So I can see why they have 4 spots, but it does suck that we have 16 teams and not like at least 20, because 20 the more teams at the tournament, and just the more fun it is. The longer it goes, the more Siege we get. So yeah, it sucks that we're not getting a ton of teams, but I mean, this tournament is like taking place over the span of like 4 5 days here. So it's gonna be a lot of Siege compacted like one into 5 days, not even a week. So it'll be fun. Um, yeah, 4 Brazilian teams, 3 NA teams, 3 European teams. Um, I don't know when the qualifiers are, and I don't know how they work. I'm pretty sure they're going to be pretty basic, but with how they work. But I don't know when any of them are. But they've got to be soon, within the next month. They got to start within the next month for sure, because they got to give teams a time to prepare for the tournament as well. So I don't know if Beast Coast will also end up being given a spot for North America, because they just won the Manchester Major. Because I do know like the Esports World Cup did that for other teams, for other games, for teams that won other major tournaments, that it gave them like an auto qualification um, into the Esports World Cup for other games. So I don't know if that'll happen for Beast Coast. I don't think so, because it'd be kind of weird if like just one team auto qualified and then the rest of the teams would still have to go through qualifiers. So I don't think that'll happen for Siege, but it might. But yeah, again, most spots are to the major regions, and then each of our minor regions get 1 spot. So LATAM, who knows who's gonna get that, but it'll be a bad team probably. I don't think anybody thinks those teams are good. Asia, this is probably gonna be. This is the your like bleed, direwolves, fury, and like elevate that region. So again, I always like bleed. They're always fun to watch. So it'd be fun to have them again. But I also think like teams like Fury and Elevate and Direwolves could compete. South Korea, teams that we're looking to probably go in this spot is going to be your 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 Damwon Kia, PSG Talon, Fearx, and then Weeble are probably like the top 4 contenders for this spot. Japan is probably just going to be the battle between whoever beats out Scars or CAG, whoever wins that. I don't see anybody really better than them. Maybe Kino Trope could be good. Um, they had a decent regular season in Japan, but kind of fell apart in playoffs. So they could come back. Oceania, I think everybody probably expects this to be Bliss again. I don't think there are. I think Bliss have created a pretty big gap right now between them and the rest of the teams in the region. Um, skill wise, Bliss run actual meta and strats while the rest of the region doesn't really. Um, so hopefully the rest of the region of Oceania really kind of picks up what Bliss is doing, and because this region, Oceania region, I think can be really good, but the lack of scrim quality in like all these minor regions is one of the main reasons why these teams are never amazing. But there was a lot of good signs of life out of especially the APAC teams at Manchester. So hopefully we'll see one of them finally crack top 8 at one of these big events. And there's a better chance here too with there being less major region teams. And of course, we have a MENA spot. Most people are probably either gonna expect this to either go to GK or Falcons. I don't see it going to really anybody else. So, but you never know what could happen with that region as well. It's pretty competitive within the teams within these smaller regions, especially like there's like a top 4 teams in each of these regions, and they always like to keep it pretty close. So yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath for all these teams because they only all get one spot. And I think North America probably everybody's probably now expecting like this to be, Liquid, FaZe, Furia, and I don't think E1 will be here this time. And those guys are just, unless they have another like miraculous performance, but I don't think those guys are very good. I expect another team to be in this spot. Maybe we'll get like a Black Dragons or a W7M or a Keed Stars here instead. Who knows? Maybe even Fluxo will have improved in the off season. So you never know what could happen in Brazil. Brazil is always very competitive, and teams are always um, looking to beat each other in Brazil. For NA is going to be a toss up because I think NA has a lot of potential for a lot of teams in the qualifier. I feel like the only team that is not going to make it out of North America is Los. Everything I saw from them in North America stage 1 was horrible. Those guys looked very bad, and I mean they're not even a North American team, so nobody in the NAL really cheers for them at all. So there's just a Brazilian team that plays in North America. So, but I feel like again for teams that are gonna take these spots, I think everybody's probably expecting Beast Coast to be one now, for good reason. Um, Dark Zero are always a very reliable team to make all the events, so Dark Zero could definitely be here. M80 as well look much improved, and I feel like I can definitely trust Cameraman to bring them just through a North American qualifier. But of course, an NA has a lot of other teams that compete well within their region, like SSG. I'm sure Sonics are hungry for a tournament after missing out on Manchester after losing to Space Station in the LCQ final. We also have Oxygen, who are one of my teams, a few teams in NA that I do think will make some roster changes because of how badly they fell off in stage 1 after starting off 5-0 to not making the major whatsoever. So I am expecting like some of those teams to compete. Oh, and also Wildcard. Wildcard were pretty competitive in North America too, and even Luminosity, but I don't think Luminosity are that great still yet. So yeah, definitely. I think my top 5 teams to potentially go through here are going to be M80, Beast Coast, Dark Zero, SSG, and Sonics are probably the 5 teams I'm looking out for to go through in these 3 spots. And then for Europe, Europe is such a weird situation because I feel like outside of BDS, I feel like the rest of the European teams are like not that great. And it's gonna be like whatever teams pop off are gonna take these spots outside of BDS. I feel like BDS are gonna uh, run this qualifier and take the probably the one seed from EU, if there's like seeding for it. And then I don't know, like ITB could come in through here, Secret could come through here. I don't know what the heck G2 are doing with their roster. I don't know what's happening there. So that's a weird situation, but G2 are always like a team you look at to be making all the events, whether they're a good team at the event or not. You have Virtus Pro, who are never been a great online team, but if they do make a LAN, Virtus Pro are like always a team that you can trust to go far at that event. So Virtus Pro, Wolves, a team that I think that aren't very good. They're just mid. Um, they farm shit teams, but anytime they play a good team, they get shit on. Um, what else do we have in Europe? Well, Fnatic, they weren't that good. Ents, not that good. Wild suck. Um, I'm definitely forgetting a team. I think you. European. All right. Where's the European League? Apparently, I suck at finding it right now. No, we'll just go with what I said there. So yeah, those are the teams I'm looking to be at the Esports World Cup. Um, hopefully this will be a fun event. I hope there's no controversy surrounding this event, but there probably will be, just because of um, some of the laws in Saudi Arabia. There's pretty much always controversy around that, and I am not going to make any statements on how I feel about those laws. So I'm just here for good siege and yeah. So, but yeah, the brackets for this tournament, the group stage is just made up of round robin, and there's two groups, so you're gonna have it's double elimination as well. There's two groups. Each of them have an upper lower bracket round robin. 8 teams will be in Group A, and 8 teams will be in Group B, and we're gonna have we're gonna have 4 teams come out of each group, 2 through the upper bracket, 2 through the lower bracket, and based off like the seeding of these, of how the groups go, it'll determine the matchups probably for the quarters. And just like the Manchester Major, the playoffs have the exact same format, so it's just going to be best of threes probably all the way through. Grand final will be best of 5. The one thing I am unsure about is this group stage, if these are going to be best of threes all these games or best of ones. So I could definitely see these being best of ones though, because of how the tournament is only 5 days long, and this is a lot of games to do in that time span. So assuming that they do all these games in the same day, but they could run like 2 streams, like and do it all day. Like I could see, day 1 being all these games, all of these upper bracket group stage games, and through across 2 streams, and then your day 2 would be your upper bracket semis in the groups, and then your lower bracket quarters in the groups, and then the last day could be the lower semis. But I mean, that actually wouldn't work out because that's 3 days, and then but the tournament's only 5 days long, and then because this is definitely going to be these this is going to be one day, this is going to be one day, and this is going to be one day. So yeah, I don't know the scheduling for it. I'm just making some guesses. But yeah, this is what we are looking forward to next. What I'm looking forward to next, at least for CG Sports. And I hope the event goes really well. Because this is going to be life changing money for not just the first place team, but even like if you get third and fourth here, 160K. Yeah, that's a lot of money. So that is what we are looking forward to next. And after the Esports World Cup, we're gonna have another break again until stage 2 starts. So yeah, this will be the end of my Manchester Major videos, and expect more content on the Esports World Cup as more information gets released about the tournament, because I will be covering the qualifiers, at least for Brazil, North America, and Europe. I try to do the other regions, but all these regions are usually at like horrible times for me, except for LATAM, because that's Mexico, and it's the same time zone as NA basically. So, well, Mexico and like Argentina and that. So, but yeah, I'll definitely try to do the 3 major regions. If I watch these games, I watch these games. If not, I'll probably just update on scores, but I won't know like anything about like who's doing well in these or not, really, just outside of score wise, not who's actually like playing the best. So yeah, this will be our next tournament for S tier siege competition. And after that, we go back to stage 2, Montreal Major, and SI again, and then reset. So again, thank you for listening to this ramble. I probably repeated myself one too many times again. And again, if you are looking forward to more CG Sports content, I will continue doing it, because this is, again, as I said in my first video about R6 Esports, this is something I'm really passionate about. And the dream is one day, even if it only happens one time for one match, I want to do like some sort of work at a major siege tournament. I don't care what it is, and I don't care if it's for free. I'll do it for free. It is just like it's kind of like a dream, and I will keep making content on CG Sports in the hopes that will get me to that point one day. I don't care if it takes 5 years. I don't care if it takes 3 months, but that is the long-term goal. Short-term, though, what you can expect from here is just more content on all your tier 1 CG Sports. So again, thanks for watching, and feel free to like and again comment on what you like about these videos, what you don't like, what can be improved. So always looking for feedback, and have a wonderful evening, as it is evening for me. But have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world watching this. For the people that watch us, not a lot of people watch me right now, so, but hopefully one day we can change that. So yeah, thank you and goodbye.